Hello there. I've just recently I have been having problems with actually packaging the actual project down for a standalone server playback in Unreal Engine, or just for Windows or for Mac integration. And as this project will be assessed on a Mac, generally I'd want to get into packaging it down for a Mac. Now there is generally there are many ways of packaging your project into a standalone file that will allow playback on any machine that you wish to playback, such as Android, iOS, Mac, Linux, Windows, and so on, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, but each desktop, laptop, hardware PC generally tends to come with their own scripting problems. Now the scripting is a series of code that is run that almost looks like a classic coding of old PCs, which I can show you in a little while. Now the common problem I've been having, that is quite common, but is also it also varies on how you place your files in your audio track, in your Unreal folder here. So going into Epic Games, Program Files, Epic Games 4.7 Engine. Now another one is a problem is where Fmod Studio is placed. It tends to have trouble reading and writing the actual automation files. Now alone Unreal Engine does have its own automation tool, which is the common problem with packaging. Now there's which I'm going to show you how to run it very soon. So automation tool, saved, logs, UAT. So as you can see, there's a lot of automation, but generally there's also another series of problems. I've also referred to it in my project commentary, but automationtool.exe. Now here's one of the blogs actually told me to go into actually finding the file and clicking properties, going into security. Now normally, having all these full control, some of these would be enabled read and execute, but you can allow for all and apply that. And generally that did solve the problem in some cases, but there's always a new problem that ends up coming along, which I can show you. Now you can do this in 3 ways, or maybe 4. There's also another way, but the most common way to doing it and the easiest way of doing it is, now you can play this as a standalone game just by clicking it to test it, but what you actually want is a file, say to your desktop for example. Now you can do project launcher, and you can change to iOS, and it obviously here it says the required platform SDK is missing iOS. So for now Windows, so I want Windows no editor. Now what that means is you're bouncing the file for public use, and that means that no one can edit it. So Windows client, obviously they can change a few codes prior to the format that they're bouncing it to, such Windows Server and so on. So if I was to launch the program, you're going to try to do this now. So here we are. Now UAT is the Unreal automation tool. Now this is where I had solved the problem initially before, but obviously you can see here that it's got, see now everything's running. It's all about running the automation tool here, running automation tool. Now this is the status, or commonly known in packaging the project as the script. and the script obviously is a series of codes that makes up everything and runs everything prior to your interaction, and obviously prior after your interaction, and also creating a realistic environment, obviously sending the right codes. Now here we are, as we're problem, so error build failed, automation tool terminated with exception. Now here it is, Fmod Studio, which describes a module, Fmod Studio Oculus, but a module with the name already exists in plugin. So the best way to solve this problem would be to delete one of those files. So we need, what we really need to do is go into engine plugins. So it's easy enough to remember, so as long as I can find it quickly. So if I go over to there now and try and resolve the problem, then we could have some success, but then there's normally more problems that come with it, and I'm currently having problems. So plugins, engine, plugins, Fmod Studio. Now, as soon as we've already got an Fmod Studio, I could just delete that. Now, probably going to want to reopen that. So, seeing as that has, let's have a look. Let's go. Just going to pause this for a moment. Okay, so so I've now sorted that duplicate copy, which was confusing it. So I may have to move it back to where it was, maybe because it might not be in the right place, but we will try again. And generally with a problem with launching the project, it doesn't generally tell you where it's going to launch it to. But it's managed to launch its automation tool. So this is where I got up to before I'd actually spoke with my tutor about it. So but then obviously duplicating that program into another place, so I obviously thought maybe there was another problem behind that may have solved the problem. So we shall wait on how this script works out. I'm just going to pause this while it's doing all its scripting, and then we can go back over if there's any problems or any success. We can try and look for the file and get it to work. So we have a successful launch project with many many warnings and many errors. Now normally when what that means is, although that the file has been built successfully, the errors generally mean that it's just going to be a problem working. So I can demonstrate this to you quickly. basically so saved. No, my mistake. Now this is going to be in the desktop area, so if I go racetrack levels, I'm on racetrack 6 or track 6, racetrack 2, saved, stage builds, Windows, no editor. So we have an application here which is the standalone file, and generally that's the binaries. So you want build properties, binaries, third party, Windows 64. So I'm just double checking in case there's been, but obviously it looks like here you've got the command line vehicle game. So you can see that this was created today at 22:11. Now you double click, yeah, it's generally having a problem opening. So these are all to the command errors that have gone on inside. So the file has been built successfully and the package is there, but we obviously need to look into the problems that it's having. So localization, loading localization resources contain conflicting entries. So normally localization, so you want to go into your settings as such, where I've seen for packaging project, but this is kind of different to launching the project. So but I'm sure that drop down, here we are, localization. So we've got it in English, but so that's not entirely the same. Launch options, supported platforms. So maybe I want to take that off from Mac maybe, and then leave that. Supported platforms. It's kind of roughly the same thing, but project launcher device manager. So if we have a look, one of the main problems, so we're going to start from the top. So Windows 64 does not implement deploy. So if we have a look at that, we can Google it and see if it's a common error or a common warning. But generally warnings are different to errors. Warnings are a normal okay. Gosh, it's never ending. So, yeah, see, there's not much. What does that say? Windows 64 does not implement deploy. So maybe I could write that Windows 64 does not deploy Unreal Engine launch. Okay, so that's similar HTML5, but on Windows 8 I build from sources Unreal Engine 4 on the D drive, then I launch it. I created a new project, and when I try to launch as HTML5 device, Firefox Nightly can't find the file. It's getting a bit of it. But this is under a different error, but obviously it could be the same, almost the same thing, but packaging project, as we used launching project launcher, because this is one of the many other ways you can do it. Now, building HTML5, GitHub. So GitHub is another separate program that you download to download the source code, as I can show you here, which allows you to extract Microsoft Visual Studio files from your Unreal Engine project file, and that can help you code your way around into actually compiling the project. Unreal Engine, what was I looking at again? This was GitHub. So Unreal Engine source code GitHub. Now, very similar again. I'll go into Epic Games. So you've got another Unreal Engine here. Now this is all this is the source code from GitHub, and this actually backs up all the files that are causing problems, which generally I was having a problem with the automation tool before, and this solves that, and this is another way of solving it. And they like to say that GitHub also works around all these problems, including what I'm currently having now. So it's also to do with C++, which is another way. So if you wanted to compile your projects, you can see here it's compiling C++ code, but it's very this also has another problem of its own. Generally taking a little longer than usual. Maybe it's because I sorted out Fmod's plugin file. How strange. Okay, I'm going to look into this problem a little further. So, back to packaging the project. I've just tested trying for iOS 2 on packaging, and it does require you to install iTunes, which I have currently done. But also there's another message that comes with the project, and it says, sorry, launching on the device is currently not supported for code-based iOS projects. This feature will be available in future release. So basically, launching the project on a Windows system currently is a bit of a problem on this system, which is Windows 8. Now, I had tried to do that in the college Mac systems, but that I was kind of having the same problems. And yeah, so trying to package for Windows 64, sometimes it generally tends to like to switch between 64 and 32-bit, and this is I'm a bit unsure why, but anyway, doing for shipping, as you just saw there, just change build configuration for shipping, package gain for, you know, so it goes back to 32-bit once you're done. So obviously 32-bit systems are still 64-bit systems are obviously still only within hardware units. So let's find a folder, and 104.6. Now it's already found errors, provision not found. A provision is required for deploying your app to the device. Now this is quite worrying, because it's obviously not going to go well from here, although that in the script there are things that are still going. So, and it's, look, you can see here it says EXG was blah, but unavailable, so we won't use it. So that's not generally the problem, but it seems to run in the same way that launching the game generally tends to go. Now we can look into all these problems that are having through the log, or the script as if you'd call it, online, and it is documented in my commentary, but this video is to demonstrate you the troubles I've been having, and there are many ways around it. You know, using GitHub and Git Shell I have tried many times. Generally when you use the source code, it's there to just back it up, not just run in the background. Sometimes you put in a code for Git Shell, and that, once you've done that, that allows you to go past the automation tool problem. So we've got past that and everything's packaged, but everything that's happened in there, which we can look into on the internet and try from there. So obviously looking on the websites and everything, we can sort of get a clear look, but all the problems will always vary. There's always something different within each machine, or each everyone else's programs basically. But now that we've solved the Fmod problem, we can probably generally get past that. So while this is doing that, I'm going to pause this again, and then we can scroll through the problems that may arise. If not, if the packaging is successful, then we can run a beta test of the actual game itself. If that is to work, then we can go into the Mac systems and attempt that, although that problem itself, the problems that were there originally, may end up being there anyway. So we can have a look from here. So here we have a build successful. Now I have had this before. Now this is not where the problems end, unfortunately. Generally it's trying to find the package project. So safe copy file, individual contents here, saved stage builds, manifest. So if we look into that, saved. Now where did that say it had gone? Staged. Windows no editor. Oh goodness grief. Wow. Is generally surprised. please do skip ahead. I'm just testing everything works, but I'm actually quite surprised that this game actually works. How I did it, so just by resolving that problem itself. So everything GitHub has generally solved the problem. There was just a few mishaps, but upon great success. Obviously this is for Windows and I can't actually bounce into iOS, but if I resolve the problem tomorrow morning, then I shouldn't have too much of a problem. So that was that, and that was quite amazing. I'm very happy with the result. I will be bouncing these to a DVD data disc, and I'll also try and get a Mac copy as well. So now that these problems have been rectified upon the last minute, I will do this for, as you've seen in the live video. I will still leave the videos there to show the problems I was having, and also showing a demonstration of inside the project as well, if you would like to see that also. But you also have an extra copy also. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will be back with another video of bouncing the other projects and beta testing, just to make sure everything runs smoothly.